With the Crew Motorfest just around the corner, I thought it would be cool to say goodbye to the Crew 2. But hold on, it's not actually goodbye technically because they're gonna keep updating the game, but Motorfest is coming out, so like, I don't know how much I'm gonna be playing the Crew 2, to be honest. Still, really appreciate that, Ubisoft. Today, I wanted to take a look back at the Crew 2 and play some of these old elements that basically aren't going to be in the Crew Motorfest. Does anyone even remember this update? I actually really liked it. So this was Gator Rush. This was the first major update for the Crew, and they really pushed the boundaries of the vehicles. The idea was they were going to go crazy and add different types of vehicle, like hovercrafts, for example. It's actually quite funny going back. So going to type of car, hovercraft, and there's one helicopter. You could clearly see their intentions with updating on this game. In fact, when this update came out, I was playing at 30, so it'll be interesting to see what the changes are there. Here it is, the hovercraft. As you set off, it pumps itself up, and I could just go across the water. This was such a sick update. Genuinely, I really wanted them to do more helicopters and different types of vehicle. This game would suit that hugely. Imagine if they did the quad bike update and they did just some crazy different vehicles, but ultimately this update kind of flopped. To be honest, I think the main thing was it just wasn't very fun. Let's see if I can dig out one of the events on the map. I cannot even remember. Oh my goodness, this is gonna take some time. I remember that. Aha, here they are. This is actually new. Oh, I haven't tried this one. Oh, and this is when the events actually opened the gates and you went to line up. This was something that was dropped, like the seamlessness of it. I thought it was pretty cool. They replaced it in favor of being able to change the weather and time behind the screen. I get that. But anyway, here we go. Gator Rush. Hovercraft racing through the swamp. We've got Hero talking to us, but I muted him. Of course I did. The thing that was so cool is it's like a different, unique type of vehicle to take, and you can then obviously take it as the free roam and explore with it. So you wanted to throw it up mountains and throw it onto the road and do races with cars and have like a proper Top Gear experience. And this is definitely something we lost with the Crew, and they're losing with the Crew Motorfest. I think there is a chance they could go back to this. It does seem like they are adding a quad bike to the Crew Motorfest, which is pretty cool. It's kind of a step back in that direction of new vehicle types. I've got to say, it's a lot more enjoyable and the handling is a lot better now with the 60 frames. I don't know if they maybe changed the handling. I remember them saying they did, but no one went back to them. They just didn't add any more events for it. Oh, God. It's in me. There's a thing. It's part of me now. Across the line. I will keep you forever, my friend. You are coming with me. No! No! Return to free drive. Straight into it. Just fly off to the next event. Across all terrains. Anyway, update 1 is pretty good. They even added new conversations and kind of a background and a bit of a story. Is pretty cool. We then went into a bit of another direction with the second big update. This was the Demo Derby update. Adding cars that are fully destructible, destroyable. They were going big with these updates. Showing it off by showing a bunch of smashed vehicles together. This was such a good update. These cars weren't licensed, and the reason that weren't licensed because then you could deform them and destroy them in any way. These are actually coming back as part of the Battle Royale mode. But how sick is that? I forgot. They added like a license. I kind of forgot this existed, to be honest with you. Some manufacturers clearly don't mind a little bit of destruction. Shout out to Big Dodge. I am going to be battered here. So there's a couple of ways you can play this. You've got races and you've also got just straight up fighting. I kind of like the races, and the PvP setting, this is definitely better. These things slide to all heck. I can't even remember how. Oh, you like wall ride, and that gives you the bigger speed boost, doesn't it? I completely forgot they had this. That's so sick. Licensed destruction, baby. Bumper hanging off already. The frame is it's visible. I'm gonna crash into some. You absolute. You get these power ups so you can smash into people, do some big damage. I'm gonna avoid them though. No, I'm not. That's right. That's what you get. Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god. Yes. Fine. Now the Crew Motorfest, at least at launch, doesn't have any of these races anything like this? I don't think. I may be wrong. I haven't played. What are you doing? But it is kind of wild to think that we went from these huge updates. Like, these are mega big updates that are kind of game changing in it. Second place. No more you ain't. And a little bit later on, we've kind of slimmed it down a little bit. They've optimized the process of these updates. Now, granted, some of these other later updates were bigger. The big changes that came with those, like the graphics overhaul, the 60 frames, like, they kind of improved the game hugely. But a little bit after this update, things kind of changed up a little bit. Oh, yes. Just call me Big Beans. It's my new name, Big Beans. If all car manufacturers allowed this kind of stuff, it would be so sick. I love that, like, my car is just completely falling apart. So I think Hot Shots was a turning point. It's a little bit different from what you saw last time. I don't even remember this trailer at all, but it was different. So the Summit was introduced to the game, which was kind of surprising. We then got the Evo. We got some new customizations, and we went, I guess we were a little bit crazier with the Crew. Everything just went a little bit more mental with the effects and whatnot. We got the Gold Edition cars. We got the 488 Pista and 6 sweet new rides. Well, including the Pista, obviously. That's when the Egoista was added. The Bugatti. Oh, the Diva was so cool. It was a big update, but in a different way for sure. After this update, it kind of just changed. The update style. I've not flown this helicopter for so long. This is honestly one of the jankiest helicopter handlings ever. Saying that, it now seems easier. 60 frames makes games easier. I promise you, friends. And it's just smoother. I know what I'm doing. I've always been the designated vehicle handler in general in games, obviously. How sick does that smoke look? That fog. I've never noticed that before. Which kind of brings us to where we are now with the Crew. Now, this is the progression that I've done. Over time, they've added new events to these areas. So I never really fully completed pretty much anything. The Motorflix episodes started rolling out, and they, again, have done some pretty good changes to the game, but I don't feel like there's been anything as drastic as those initial updates. They kind of went crazy. You know, the chase, that definitely was also a decently big update, but like actually changing the gameplay itself, that's kind of what they were focusing on at the beginning. But the problem is, people just clearly really wanted cars. Hence now every update is literally cars. Every picture is to do with cars. I completed all of the hunt on PC, so let's actually jump it. No, I'm doing the chase. Oh yes, oh my goodness, what an update this is. They still clearly continued to add some different modes, but they kind of mixed and matched previous things. Like, of course, these vehicles here, a Demolition Royale, a Demolition Derby, update cars, style, you know what I'm saying? Whereas I can use this Bugatti and just get a couple of scratches. But it didn't bother me, right? Like, it doesn't matter. We were asking for police, and they implemented it in a really cool way. Manufacturers can't say no if you are the police and you take out the criminal, because they're like, oh no, now we're good. We're good. Yeah, we are the good people. I think they realized why Forza Horizon could keep pumping out updates like it did. Because what they did is they added cars and remixed the same style of content kind of over and over again. Not that the Crew always did that, but if you look at the previous updates, they had to create everything new. And then now it's a little bit like reflavoring. But I mean, clearly the majority of people actually kind of like that. I remember there being kind of little interest in the main 2 updates, and so that's why they changed course. I kind of just would prefer if it was like a mixture. Like the chase is a really good example, because you did use the Demo Derby stuff, so you needed the Demo Derby to have this, but also police cars, putting lights on existing cars and adding some dramatic music and putting them on a road and saying take them down. Like that, it's so simple in a way. Oh, sorry, but it makes so much sense, and they could continue to do that. And clearly with Motorfest, if you've played Motorfest, they're kind of doing a little bit more of that. Remixing is going to be a big focus, but remixing using mechanics. So in some events, you, for example, can disable aspects like the mini-map has completely gone. I know that's pretty simple, but you're driving an older car and all of a sudden you got no traction control, ABS. On the Porsche one, don't damage your car. These are some really basic examples, but maybe some more extreme ones. Like on the electric cars, you get the boost pads and such. There's just going to be so many different ways for them to mix it up, and I'm excited for that. But hopefully that means with the updates, they go big content. Does that make sense? Another one of the hugest changes, again, was the motor pass, which, interestingly, to think about it, does this come back? I don't remember if it's in Motorfest. My brain is just complete. I don't know if it is. They're instead taking it in a better route, I think, is just rewarding you for playing constantly, doing different things, but built into the game. Like, it's a much smarter game. Every time you go on, there's gonna be something fresh. They took what they learned about the Crew 2, and ultimately they've completely changed how the game works. And so that's why I really understand why it's a new game. If I remember 2 events from this game, 2 events, it would be the Sleeper and the Strip South. I played the Strip South 50 billion times to make money. I wish it would track how many times I played that damn event. The Sleeper still has the cutscene at the start.
Rookie thinks they can just roll in and walk away with it.
You race for pinks, they're gonna be walking all right.
Now this is what it's all about for some.
Latrell!
Rides, people, party.
I really wish there was more stuff like this.
Legit doesn't appeal. Gonna take some time to get more people to see it my way.
Oh my goodness.
Time I've got. Just look at those cars.
Wow.
There's some mighty fine rides lining up out there.
You damn right, Latrell!
But you know who I'm thinking our friends should be watching out for? That plain-looking one right there.
Huh? Doesn't look like much.
It doesn't have to if it's got the right kind of monster under the hood.
So
If you're
sick.
not
Midnight Club
careful,
vibes for sure.
That monster's gonna eat you up.
Yeah, that monster's gonna eat me up in my Murcielago. Unfortunately for them, I think not, Latrell. Either way, we are on the highest difficulty.
Your car just woke up in a big way.
I don't think it did. In fact, it's almost in last place. I do love it though. It's such a cool element. They could have done a whole series on just sleeper cars, to be honest. And how would it eat that up? Eat it all up. But if this race doesn't bring back memories for you, well, clearly you didn't play the Crew at the beginning. The Crew 2 at the beginning. It's evolved so much and amazingly just grown in the background. I feel like Forza's dominating racing games right now. That's pretty obvious. Okay, Forza Horizon. I want to make the distinction there. It'll be interesting going forward because the problem with it being so mass-produced now is kind of its downfall. The Crew came out of nowhere after 5 years building on the Crew 2 and just improving it pretty much in every aspect. And I feel like it's kind of how Gran Turismo and Drive Club wanted to be. You go in the game and there's fresh. It's into the action. You could press a tile, a playlist, and ultimately get going. It's got the free roam aspect, so you don't lose out on that. It's not just race, but you learn as you play, and you play as you learn, but you have fun with it because it's an arcade racing game. The problem with simulators is you can't explain the feeling, the excitement that you get from driving a car, even a slow car, fast through simulation games. I've just never experienced it, except the GT Tomahawk. That's a little bit different. That's why arcade racing games, to me, will always be on top, because ultimately, they translate the fun and excitement of driving so much better than simulators can, ever will. And that's why you don't sit in the middle. You go one way or the other, baby. And the Crew, it knows it's an arcade racing game. For damn sure. What's second place? I'm curious. Is that... Is it actually going to come second place? That's the Abarth sleeper car. Where is he? In the bin, that's what. Beautiful rewards. Thank you, thank you. Bless up, bless up. Let me into the free roam. Is it just going to... It's one of the ones with the transition. Friends, less than a week away to Motorfest. I will see you there. Thanks so much to the Crew 2 for incredible memories and for being, honestly, at the beginning, one of the most underrated games to now being actually really popular. Be very interesting to see how Motorfest goes. I salute you, the Crew 2.